Rental properties are amongst the most common type of real estate investments due to their low risk and high reward when it comes to profits. Rental properties come in all shapes and sizes and can be found literally anywhere in the US. When you want to invest in rental properties, you will find many different types of rentals, each having their own unique benefits and drawbacks. Let's start by talking about the most common type of rental property, the single-family house. And as the name suggests, the single-family house is your typical house with one kitchen, one bathroom, maybe a few bedrooms, and usually its own plot of land, meaning that the house is a standalone structure intended for one family. It is also the most common type of home listed on the MLS. There are many pros of choosing a single-family house. First and foremost, there are tons of single-family homes out there. Nearly every street in the US has a single-family home, and there are tons and tons of options to choose from. Second, it is very easy to finance a single-family home because they are so commonplace. There are thousands and thousands of banks willing to lend you money for a single-family house if your credit and income looks okay. Then tenants who rent single-family homes tend to stay for many years and are generally stable tenants, which is always a plus. Next are multifamily properties. Multifamily properties are buildings with more than one unit. Very few people buy multifamily homes to live. Mostly, these homes are owned by investors. If purchased right, a multifamily property has the potential to be cash flow positive from the get-go. In addition, rents can be increased in small amounts for each unit, or expenses can be decreased, and this ripple effect can cause huge increases in cash flow. In a multifamily property, although you own multiple units, you still take out one loan and have one insurance policy, so you have one bank and one insurance agent to deal with. That reduces a lot of hassle if you compare that to holding multiple single-family homes. On the flip side, a multifamily property is likely to cost a lot more than a single-family house. Then there are condos and townhomes. They're both very similar in nature, but there are a few differences. Condos are properties in which there are many individually owned units within a complex. A collection of condos often look like an apartment complex, but rather than having one owner who leases out all units, each unit in a condo is individually owned. Townhomes, on the other hand, are similar to condos but are typically multi-stories, giving the townhouse a feel of a single-family house. Also, townhomes usually share a wall with another unit because multiple townhouses are lined side by side. Next is a foreclosure property, which is a property that has been foreclosed upon by a bank and it is now owned by the bank. Foreclosure properties are probably the most popular type of properties amongst investors. Reason being, it is easiest to find a good deal in a foreclosed property. Foreclosed properties usually have something odd about them. Most of these properties have been vacant for a few months, so problems like bad smell and mold are common. For this reason, most people avoid these properties because they do not want to deal with all these problems. For investors, however, it is an opportunity. An opportunity to buy a distressed property for a good price, fix it, and then eventually rent it out. Since these properties are owned by banks and not a typical home seller, the banks are not going to get offended by a low offer. Banks are usually willing to lower their price and get the property off their books as soon as possible. Foreclosed houses are also listed on the MLS just like any other real estate property. The last kind of property that I will talk about is a fixer-upper. A fixer-upper is a home that needs minor to significant rehabilitation before it can be rented out. The repairs can be as simple as fresh paint, or they can be as intensive as new roofing or major plumbing or electrical issues. The best part about finding a fixer-upper is that there is less competition. Finding good, nice homes can be tough in a crowded market because everyone is looking for a nice house. In case of a fixer-upper, most people do not want to buy a project. They want to buy a home that is ready to move in. Therefore, if you invest in a fixer-upper, you clearly wipe out most of the competition because most people do not want to do the work to bring the property up to par. This can make finding good deals a lot easier. However, you need to be aware that fixer-upper can have a lot of hidden costs. It is very difficult, especially for a new investor, to accurately estimate the total cost of rehab on a project. Secondly, rehabbing a home is usually not a peaceful experience. From the first swing of the hammer to the final change of the locks, dealing with the drama associated with rehabbing can be quite stressful. As you get more proficient at rehabbing a home, it can be an easy task. But learning how to efficiently rehab a house takes time. Before buying a fixer-upper, be sure to ask yourself several times if you have the time and the motivation to go through with a complete project of rehab. I hope you have a better understanding of all the different types of investment properties. There is no one right path. Rather, the type of real estate you choose to invest in will depend on the kind of real estate that works well in your area. Real estate is a tough business, and the field is peppered with landmines that can wipe out your returns. That is why it is important to do detailed research before you dive in so you're on top of all the pros and the cons.